All right, welcome into Market Day Report. I am Scott Shellady, otherwise known as the Cow Guy, and that brings me to the Cow Guy Close, a cheap plug, right? It's the top of the hour, 1 Central, 2 Eastern. I want to see you there. We got a great show again today. We've got fantastic guests. We've got 15 of them, 3 a day for 5 days a week. And they've all got other shows on other networks. It's great to have them on. We're very lucky that way. But again, 1 Central, 2 Eastern, the Cow Guy Close. Now, if for some reason you can't make it here today, I understand everything. Every now and again, things come up. You don't have to even change the channel. Just keep sitting where you're sitting. But if you do miss, we do put it on the radio, so you can at least listen to it again. And that's in the late afternoon, early evening, 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern. And that's Rural Radio, Sirius XM Channel 147. And if that's at supper time or you miss it because you're eating or you're out of the house, well, you know what? We put it on again late at night when you're probably coming home from having a good time, 2 a.m. Central, 3 a.m. Eastern, and that's Sirius XM Rural Radio, Channel 147. So I give you 2 places to listen to it, 1 place to watch it. Watch it's probably the best, and that's again at 1 Central, 2 Eastern, just the top of the hour, in about 16 minutes exactly from right now. All right, let's see what these markets are doing. Let's pull up a corn board. We'll get to those things because that's really what you want to hear about. We're leaking lower in corn, 3 1/4 cents lower now. 4.10 1/4 last, just a quarter tick, 1 tick off the low of the day, and we've had about an 8 1/4 cent range. March, that's down 2 3/4 cents to 4.29 even, and that's just a quarter off the low. So corn trading weak as we go to the close of the day. How about beans? They're trying to stay above unchanged. We're just there right now. 1 1/4 cents better in Nova right now at 10.40 1/2. We do have, the low is about 7 1/4 cents ago. But that seems like a long way away, but we might slip to a negative on the day. We'll see if we get some buying to come in here on the close. But 1 1/4 cents better in Nova, 10.40 1/4 last. Jan's up 1 3/4 to 10.58 1/2. All right, so that's what's going on in Chicago beans. Let's go to Chicago wheat. Chicago wheat, well, that's lower, 6 1/4 cents lower, 5.76 1/4 last. That's a penny off the lows, and we're about 13 cents off the highs. And you move to the March, that's down 5.5 cents to 5.95 3/4. That's a penny off the low there as well. So similar across the board. Chicago wheat trading just about 5 1/4 to 6 1/4 cents lower across the board. Let's move out to Kansas City to the hard red wheat. That's down 7.5 cents up front. That's decent. 5.69 3/4 is last, and that's a penny off the low there. And we've had about let's call it a 16-cent range. March is down 6 3/4 cents to 5.84 even, and we're a penny off the low there in March. So hard red wheat also on its heels, and that's in Kansas City. Let's move from there to Minneapolis and see what the spring wheat's got for us, and that's 9 3/4 cents lower there to 6.09 1/4, which is just 1 tick off the low of the day, and we've had a 15-cent range. March, that's down 9.5 cents to 6.31 even, and again, just 1 tick off the low of the day in March. And if you go to the May, the July, and the Sep, they're all on the lows of the day in spring wheat, Minneapolis. Let's go to cotton, see what that's got in store for us. Trying to get back above that 74 line in Dees. We're 73.90 last. It's 46 points better on the day. And I guess you could say we're 65 points off the high. All right, that's cotton. Let's bring in our next guest analyst, Mr. Ted Seifried, Zaner Ag Hedge. Ted, thanks for sticking around. Any of those prices jump off the page at you?
I mean, obviously, this has been a week about soybeans so far, Scott, and it's really based on weather, right? We have a whole bunch of different weather inputs coming at us in multiple hemispheres, really, and we're just trying to make sense of it all and what that means for our domestic crop, what it means for Brazilian planting, and what it really meant yesterday was uncertainty. We were sharply higher. We followed through on that early today, especially right after the open, or actually leading right into the open and then on the open. But then we've seen that a lot of that strength fade away. We're basically unchanged, as you mentioned. And corn's actually down a little bit on the day. But, you have this big storm coming up through the Gulf. There's concern there that there might be some damage done to unharvested soybeans. So we're trying to balance that with the longer-term forecast for the driest areas in Brazil look like they could be getting some rain. Now, we take that with a grain of salt because we've seen rain in that forecast a couple of times, and then it falls out. So I think we need to get the feeling of a couple more days of that rain being in there to really gain confidence before we can really say, all right, Brazil's going to get that rain. They're going to get planted. Yeah, they might be a little bit behind. That might extend our export window a little bit, but they're going to get that bean crop planted. So again, we're watching weather very much in a lot of different places right now. Certainly watching for harvest weather too.
All right, great stuff. Stay right there, though. We need to have you come back. We're going to go away. We're going to pay some bills. Come back and talk to Mr. Ted Seifried about the livestock right after this. All right, welcome back. Let's talk about some livestock, right? You wear this jacket, you got to do it. And this is last time we're going to talk about livestock until tomorrow morning when they open up again after they close. So let's take a look and see what live cattle I've got for us. I've got that board up early here. Let's go to October. It's up just one tick. 183.27's last. And again, folks, we've had a pretty tight range over there. We're in the middle of it, I guess you could say that. So 183.30 now. We're up a nickel. We've only had about a $1.20 range, right? So D sets up 55 cents to 184.37 there. So not a lot going on in live cattle. We're up around 55 cents across the board. Feeder cattle, they're a little bit better here. In October's up a $1.20, so that's good. 245.67's last. We're still about, what, 50 cents off the high of the day there. No, that's up 65 cents to 243.40. All right, so we'll take it. But most of the gains front-loaded in October, up a $1.20. 245.67 is last there. Lean hogs, well, lean hogs you ask, lean hogs you get. October can't find its feet, still lower by 15 cents. I'm not going to make too much of a big deal out of it. 82.15 is the price. As you go out the defers, we gain anywhere between 12 to 25 cents, or well, actually 12 to 32 cents. So not bad, but still steady, a little bit easier if you take out the oct. That's lean hogs for you. Let's bring in our guest analyst and see what he's got to say about it. Ted Seifried, Zaner MarketCast. Ted, what's going on out in the livestock sector?
Well, like you said, it is a fairly quiet day, Scott, but it's also a really good day for the cattle complex. I mean, you look at December live cattle trading above the 100 and 200-day moving averages. I mean, this is major resistance that, give it just a month ago, we weren't even sure if we can get back towards. So, yeah, looking good. I mean, ever since the Fed cut the interest rates by 0.5 point, I think there's just this renewed optimism in the economy, renewed optimism in what domestic demand is going to be. And as far as the chart is concerned, we've got that really nice double bottom from August and September lows. It looks really good. I mean, you're getting into that thin trade that we had at the end of July. So it's a positive day. The one thing I will say, Scott, is we are getting really rather overbought with almost a 70% reading on the relative strength index. I could imagine getting a pullback at some point here in the relatively near future, so do watch out for that. But otherwise, again, you've got a really nice longer-term double bottom. You've had a really nice bounce off the lows, and you've got what looks like to be a close above some very, very key moving average resistance, which will now be support. So, yeah, I think we're feeling good about the demand prospects going forward.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue with that, and I agree with you. It's I think going to be interesting going forward here. The rest of the year, I think is going to be really interesting. So, appreciate you coming on. I know you're busy, Ted. Ted Seifried, Zaner MarketCast, coming to us from Chicago. Thanks, Ted, for great content. Bring it back here to Suzanne just one more time.
Yeah.